Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to me paving everything on RoadCraft. Last time, we did a little bit of some stuff and things there. And this time, we're onto one of the harder maps. And you'll see why once I go to vehicles and toggle on the layers. That's the layers we have to work with. Not too bad coverage in the bottom here. Okay coverage in these areas. However, over here, where the most roads need to be paved, there is nothing. Which means we're either going to be needing to find a place to lay down the sand scraper, or we're going to have to use the refueling mechanic to spawn the sand truck in again and again and again. So it's not going to be very fun. Let's just put it mildly like that. But this also has a lot of challenges if we just kind of look around. So Sunken has some odd issues with huge cracks in the asphalt here and stuff like that. Just all of this, for example. And then over here we have all of literally this. We're not going to be filling in all of this. In fact, the only thing we're going to be really doing here is this strip right here, because this is a functional facility, and we do kind of need a road to more easily get to it. So we're going to be kind of filling in this, making a road there. And then we're also going to be doing a road up here, because these buildings probably need to be accessible. And then we also probably want to open up the area for, the people who are going to repair this area to actually be able to have access to it easily enough from the direct roadway here rather than have to go around. We also have down here that we will not be paving because it's all asphalt. However, over here we get this patch of here which has some pretty bad mudded stuff, and then there was also a area over this way and down here that we'll be patching up. And then I think this stuff is technically asphalt over here. We're going to be leaving most of this alone after we get through into this area, including down here is going to be fine and all that. After we zoop out of here, I just noticed this road, but we're not going to be paving that at all. So that's going to be kind of in this area, on this little southeastern area. All the roads we're going to be paving here. There's also this one that loops down here to like the docks, which I feel would be kind of important to have since you'll be wanting to potentially bring in supplies through, the ocean here, not just necessarily this port over here. We'll be doing that. Then there's a road that stretches up here, which luckily it's all pretty much paved pretty well. Then there's a little thing that goes down here we'll have to end up doing, and then we might just pave down to here because this is like a huge sand pit. And I already kind of have a road built here. Where'd my bridge go? Oh, I think I just took it apart for some stupid reason, but we can just re-add that real quick, right? Do it like that. There we go. Easy piece. Actually, that's not going to work at all. Hold on. Try that again from a little bit further away. So we have 3 slabs to work with. Let's start from this end, actually. That'll be fine. Yeah, that's much better. The easier way to get over it now, even though they're going to be kind of in the way. But then, did I not? Hold on. Oh, right, I didn't pave there because there was no sand access in this huge area, by the way, but I still managed to not pave, but drop a bunch of sand there. So we can come in here, do a little bit more with the sand in this area now that we have the mobile scraper, and then try to do that. We're not going to worry too much about the stuff down in this area, just because there's nothing really here, but having a good, quick, fast route to the port from this area it could be very beneficial for everything involved, right? And then if we come over to here, we have this road, which isn't really that important because it just goes to this rail station, which there's not even like a station here, it just goes to the railroad tracks, I mean. However, we then have a bunch of these weird little roads, which we're not going to do any of these down here, but we will do this one road here leading to this gas station. Because I feel like that's a pretty important thing. We're also going to be doing the one up here, and then this one goes out of the map, so we can't do that anyway. So we're just going to do basically a nice little ring of asphalt there. I think that'd be good. And we can continue up here, and we need to pave over this little bit. And then we continue on with asphalt. We're good, we're good. We need to pave over this little bit here, I think. Or, no, I think I accidentally dropped that sand there, to be honest. Then that looks good. And then we can go ahead and run sand down through here, over to this, and down to this little city here, which has unfortunately been the victim of a flood. So there's not a whole lot we can do here. I suppose if we really, really wanted to, we could like make a bridge from here over to here and then make a roadway that way. However, doing that doesn't really serve a purpose because there's no reason to go this little area here. So as far as I can see, the only parts that are necessary here would be to get through this town, which is also ruined. I'll talk about the ruined towns here in a moment, but this workshop's kind of important because it's actually a functional facility for the most part, and then these ones here to help with the rebuild effort of this area. Then there's this road here, which looks like it's, you know, pretty good. We don't have to worry about that too much. This one's already done. There is up here an area of this sawmill that we have not seen yet because I've not had a reason to go up here. Well, we'll probably pave that and then see where exactly what up here looks like in order to search for more here. And then we jump over to this area, which I built this bridge here and this sand path, which this was so annoying because this is like a huge like chasm that I had to fill with sand to even get this bridge to work so that we can go through here to this little paved area, over to here, and then over this sand, which we're going to have to pave, and there's more sand over here as well. We're going to pave, and we're not going to worry about this because they can drive through there, and this is part of this base anyway, right? So this is also a huge, just like, sinkhole, basically. That was annoying to fill with sand. I think it probably took me an hour alone to just fill it with sand. You'll see once we actually get to this point why it probably took me that long, but then we can come over here, see all this nonsense. This I've paved over. We could probably pave up to the railroad tracks. I don't think we should, though. This is pretty packed down gravel, and honestly, you don't really want to go over railroad tracks, even though I did that here to get up here to this bridge, which leads up to this castle, which was a huge thing. Anyway, and then there is just like more stuff over here, but I don't think there's anything of value over in this direction. But there's a substation here, which means we need a road for this one, so we'll probably go through here, down past this bridge that I made, through here, up through here, over through here, down through here, down through all that nonsense. Excuse me. And then link up with this area here, which probably needs a bit of sand path here, and then over to here, which will link up to that area. And then we're going to have to do a little bit over here to link up to this bridge that links to the south. So... fun times, right? We'll worry about more in-depth discussion about the top later, because that's going to be a couple episodes from now. But anyway... with that area planned out, this area down here, we're going to start with this group, and we're basically just going to make a nice plus intersection here, going across here and across here, because this just leads into this, like, destroyed town. I think we're definitely not going to pave over this stuff here, because the townsfolk have to clean up the bricks anyway, so paving over it would be detrimental to the cleanup production, right? And so we're going to leave that alone. But we are going to go ahead and make a route through this muddy path up here into this port area. We'll also go up through here. And I ran out of markers, but we're going to go down this path too. I think I have one left now, yeah. And kind of just end right here. Clean up this swampy bit a little bit. So that way they have better access to this town to rebuild it. And then looking at the port itself, we probably don't need to do anything in here because it's one of the like the landmarks and kind of stuff, so you don't have to worry too much about that one. But over here we have some roads that I've already built. These all look good. There's nothing really much to add here. That one is not necessary to do and whatnot because this one exists, which leads us into this huge concrete slab facility, which does not need anything. And then this thing, we probably need to pave down here, and then over past this sand quarry through here, and then link up with like that, I guess. We'll probably also want to split off and go through here to get to the gas station to do that. And then down here, we have just this whole area is like an industrial place, so we don't have to worry about too much about any of this area. However, we will want to kind of outside of the industrial area, once we get past the bridge, again, it just leads into these deep mines, really. So I don't think down here is necessary to pave because they could eventually chip away at some of that in order to make the quarries lower. So doing that would be unnecessary. Same thing over here. I don't think it's that important past this point. Since we have asphalt, is that asphalt? It's hard to tell. I think it is. It looks similar to that stuff. Maybe that's dirt though. I think that is dirt, yeah. So we'll probably end up going down here, over through here, down to here, and then maybe into like right here. And then we can also, if we really want to, which I don't think we really do need to make another path through here. I think that would just be kind of an extra one for this. But we could if we really wanted to finish off the south like that. So yeah, there's a lot to do on this map. Just because there is so much like weird stuff and whatnot, and all the like hills and other nonsense over here, which again is going to be a pain in the butt since we don't have any sand in this area. But we'll see what happens when we get to it. So for now, our plan is going to be, we're gonna start in this truck here, and we'll go ahead and just pave this little road here, hopefully finish that up. And then we'll go over to the east, start, since this is all asphalt, we can start here, go up to this little antenna radio station area over here. And when that's done, do that. And then with that done, we can come over to the steel pipe facility, pave all that, then pave that, loop back down to here, and then finish up with that. And after that, we can swap over to our next group that is in position. Yeah, I did spend a little bit of time clearing the map of vehicles and moving the things into place, so that was great. Yeah, but anyway, let's get to work, and hopefully we can clean this map up pretty quick. We'll see how it goes. It's definitely going to be a challenge, but knock it out. that will wrap up the first section of Sunken that we will be doing. A lot of decent little progress here. A lot of filling in some holes and whatnot here. So yeah, we did a pretty good job doing all of this. You know, back up here through the dock and whatnot, and then of course the larger part over here where we had to, you know, build up a lot of sand in order to make it not a huge steep hill and whatnot. So yeah, this whole southeastern section is now completed. The area across the railroad tracks here. Next time, we will be going ahead and doing everywhere to the left of that, kind of the southwest, right? But there's a lot to cover on this map, right? So we're going to be doing, you know, like all of these roads right here to kind of facilitate the dock, maybe filling in some of this water here so it's more navigatable and whatnot, so that the when things do, you know, need to be repaired and stuff, we'll have, you know, a place for the trucks and stuff to go through, you know, in lore reasons, right? Finish up some of that road there and all that good jazz. Maybe go up around here so that the sand and stuff can be accessed more easily. But yeah, we'll definitely cutting through here, going through this road here. Definitely want to fill this in because that's going to be a problem. And then of course there's the road that goes to the gas station over here that we want to probably fill in for just ease of access to the quarry. So we'll go ahead and do this mountain path here up to here to this workshop. And then we'll probably go up here and pave from there. And then also continue to the west here where it leads into the quarry. Just kind of like that little like U-shaped section there. Probably nothing south of there because that's technically in the quarry section. And since it's a quarry, they'll be continuing to mine through it. So there's no real point in doing much else there when it'll just be torn down, right? So yeah, I think that'll be the plan for next time. We already have some roads here for, you know, the main city area and whatnot that we've already done through the course of the story mode here. But yeah, I definitely want to fill in that little pit too a little. But yeah, so join us next time as we will continue to pave things here in Sunken. Until then, bye for now.